Hello. In this video, I'm going to try my best to give some respects to Mr. Negative and Withar. This is a super powerful commander. I really like this idea, and I've put together about 50 cards that I think would be super playable with Mr. Negative. First up, I have Elish Norn and Panharmonicon. Both of these double the triggered ability of creatures entering, and Mr. Negative is a permanent or a creature entering. Plus, Elish Norn turning off our opponent's stuff is good, but when Mr. Negative enters is when we do the life exchange, and having that happen more than once is great. Next up, Necropotent is a game changer that's really good at draining our life. We want our life to get down as quickly as possible so that when we trade it off, we trade our 4 life for our opponent's 40 or 30 or 35 and get those interactions happening as quickly as possible. And Necropotent is a great way to do that. Psychosis Crawler, whenever we make that exchange, if we are at 3 and they're at 40, there's 37 life that we lost. I guess actually that's 37 life we gained. So other example, if we have 40 life and one of our opponents has 3 life, we already traded off, we could trade back and each opponent loses 1 life, and that difference of 37 life would kill our opponents. So Psychosis Crawler is also great in this deck to take advantage of if you lost life this way. Draw that many cards. So once we make one trade, when we make the trade back, bam, they die to Psychosis Crawler. Skinny Study is another fun way to like us lose some life. We would draw 7 cards and lose 7 life for 5 mana. And we're not playing blue, so we need access to card draw. So Steaming Study is a good way to draw some cards. Debts to the Debtless and Insagnate, I think is how you say it. Both of these are like our finishing blows. So once we've traded off life, we've swapped life with our opponents a couple times, and they're all at low life total. Debt to the Deathless can just finish them off. So same with this card. So those are like our 2 kind of finishers in my head, but there's other ways you can finish as well. Tainted Sigil is 1 white and a glare for an artifact. Tap, sack it. You gain life equal to the life lost by all players this turn. So if you're at 3 and your opponent's at 40 and you trade lives, well, your opponent just lost 37 life, so you could gain 37 life, or in the opposite swing. So it just, someone's always going to be negative in the life swamp, and you can just gain that difference for yourself, which is great. Tainted Remedy, whenever an opponent would gain life, that player loses that much life instead. So if the opponent's at 10 and you're at 30, and you swap life totals, they would gain 20 life, which would really make them lose 20 life. So this just becomes, you bounce Mr. Negative, and I'm going to get into some bouncing effects, more bouncing effects later in the video, but just bouncing him can kill them with Tainted Remedy, which is fun. Penguin Bond, whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. So if you're at 3 and your opponent's at 40 and you trade, you would gain 37 life and you could make them lose 37 life. So it's just literally with Penguin Bond, if there's a difference of 20 life, you could just kill the player that you target with this. Angel's Grace can prevent you from losing the game for having 0 life. So if you have a turn where you can bounce Mr. Negative multiple times, you could trade off your 1 life with your opponent, 1 life with your opponent, and keep trading him if you could bounce him multiple times. And then you wouldn't lose the game from that, but your opponents would. So, or at least they'd be down to really low life. So Angel's Grace can kind of stop some bad thing from happening. Plague Drone does the same thing as Penguin Bond. No, as Tainted Remedy. If an opponent would gain life, that player loses that much life instead. So in the exchange, if you have more life than the opponent you chose and they would gain the life, it would kill them. So Plague Drone's also great here. Herald of the Eternal Dawn. You can't lose the game and your opponents can't win the game. It stops things from just going away from where you needed them to go, in the direction you needed to go. So this can just save you, and you can start trading around zeros. Because if you're at 0 life or negative life and you trade that with your opponent, you're not losing, but they're going to start losing from that. Same as Phyrexian Unlife. It can just prevent you from going under 0. Now, Infect will kill you eventually, but I'm pretty sure that Infect, the loss of life doesn't cause you to take a damage. So the trading of the life to going less than 0 won't give you Infect counters. So Phyrexian Unlife can also keep you in game. Wound Reflection, at the beginning of each end step, each opponent loses life equals life they lost this turn. So again, if you trade your life total with an opponent and there's a difference of 20, they lost 20 in the exchange, they would lose another 20 and the game would be over. You could play this on turn 6 and Mr. Negative on turn 7, which is great. Viscopia Guildmage, one of the best cards. White and black, 2/2. That second ability is the part we care about. Whenever you gain life this turn, each opponent loses that much life. So if there's a difference, you're at 10, your opponent's at 30, and you trade off, You gained 20 life, you deal 20 damage to each opponent, but probably didn't kill them. Or at least dipping very close to it, and you do better exchanges than 20. But a Spider-Man card that would be great for this commander is Gwendom. Remorseless. Whenever it attacks, until end of turn, you may look at the top card of your library anytime you may play cards to top your library. The important card for me is, if you cast a spell this way, pay life equal to their mana value rather than pay its mana cost. So you can just get some stuff going from the top of your deck multiple times, as long as you don't hit a land, because you can only cast spells, you can't play spells, but Venom can get some life lost from you, which is what we want. And I'm going to keep going through some cards now that can have you lose life. Reanimate can reanimate from anyone's graveyard for 1 block, and you'd lose life equal to its converted mana cost. So if you're playing against a reanimator deck, that's a way to lose 12 life and start getting the exchanges going. Toxic Deluge is another way. You can say 39 life and go down to 1, and then play Mister Negative or bounce Mister Black while Mister Negative's in exile. Toxic Deluge for 39 and then start trading some life off. So any effects that lets you choose the amount of life you pay, like Wall of Blood, like Toxic Deluge, will just do you a lot of good because you can get down to that sweet amount of life that you want to have them go down to. Ephemerate is 1 white for an instant. Exile target creature you control, they return to the battlefield under its owner's control, and then it has rebound. So when Mr. Negative enters, it's an enter ability, not a cast trigger. So bouncing it with Ephemerate, bouncing it with Felia, whenever it attacks, exile to 1 target 9-land permanent. And when it comes back, you can put a ++ counter on Felia. But just ways to bounce Mr. Negative what we want. Same with Flicker Wisp. Exile target another target permanent, and you return to the battlefield under control. Bouncing Mr. Negative, and then it returns to the next end steps. You can board wipe, you can do other things. Your opponents can't kill it because it's protected by being in exile. Cloud Shift, same thing, exile, and then it immediately returns. So you can start. You can see why I'm saying, like, you could chain some of these things off, like Flicker of Fate. You can chain these things off and bounce them. Flicker of Fate also, because we're dependent on some of our enchantments, I think we'd be dependent on our enchantments to actually finish out and close the game. Flicker of Fate can just say, oh, you're targeting it, let me bounce and put it right back into play. No longer targeted. Same as Mr. Negative. But a Flicker of Fate has some more flexibility than Cloud Shift does because it can protect our enchantments. Teleportation Circle can exile something and put it back, an artifact or a creature at the end of the turn. So really, you could probably play other enter the battlefield abilities as well. I just didn't include them in this list, but there are some fun ones you could probably play. Especially anything in white. I'm thinking that you'd want to play things in white like the rabbit. It's like Jackal Rabbit, maybe? Maybe not. But the rabbit that lets you get lands if an opponent has more lands than you. You're not playing green. You need to be able to ramp into your 7-mana commander. That's a lot. And Conjurer's Closet can bounce that as well. But Children of Corlys, 1 white, 1/1, sack it, you gain life with life lost this turn. So if in the exchange you trade with someone that has almost no life, and you have them gain a bunch of life, you can also gain life by sacrificing it, which is nice. Enduring Tenacity, 2 black, 4/3. When you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. So in the exchange, if you trade off your 3 for a 40 and you gain 37 life, someone will have to lose 37 life, which is going to kill one of your opponents. Plus, when it dies, it has some tenacity and comes back as enchantment, which is fun. Veto, same thing. When you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. So in the exchange, 3 to 40. I keep repeating it, but it's good. Black Market Connections is a way for us to ramp. We're not playing green. Making a treasure every turn. Losing life is what our deck is going to want to do. Drawing cards is what we want our deck to do. I mean, we want to lose the 2 life. We want to draw cards because we're not playing blue. So that's good. And then making a little blocker is not too bad, especially in the world where we're going to want to be losing life. Force of Plowshares, exile something for your opponent's board for 1 white, and then have a player gain life equal to its power, and then just take their life total. So kind of cute, kind of fun, but also good. Bolas' Citadel is another way to play cards on top of our library and pay life equal to their converted mana cost. And then as a finishing blow, I imagine a world where, like, if you've bounced Mr. Negative 3 times and you've passed around people having 3 life, like, oh, I trade my 3 for your 40. Now you're at 3 and I'm at 40. I pay 37 life to my Wall of Blood, and then I'm going to trade with you. And the Bolas' Citadel, you can tap, sack 10 permanents if you have them. I don't know how often we will because we're not playing like tokens, but it's just a way to end the game while being something that we're going to win card advantage because we're not playing blue, while being something that can have us lose life, which is nice. Crick, Son of Yawgmoth, turns all of the black symbols into Phyrexian mana, which is good. We can draw up our mana quicker. And Mister Negative would only cost 6 mana instead of 7, which makes a big difference in my opinion as well. Ad Nauseam is another game changer, but you can reveal cards and lose life equal to the mana cost, and you can repeat it many times you want. So you can draw a bunch of cards and lose a bunch of life. Now, typically people are playing this in some kind of combo deck. Now, this is a combo deck, but not the same combo as like Ad Nauseam usually played in, but Repay in Kind, 7 mana sorcery, each player life total becomes the lowest life total among all players. So Repay in Kind, you just dropped your life to 1. You repay in kind, now everyone's at 1, and how can you just be the one that finishes them off, which is, I make fun. Now, it is 7 mana, so it kind of like conflicts with Mister Negative. You're going to want to play Mister Negative for 7, but Tree of Predation, exchange target player's life total with this creature's toughness can drop an opponent down to 13. If they're at a high life total and you want to drop their life down, you can trade it with the tree. Dark Confidant is another way to draw cards and have this lose life, because at the beginning of your upkeep, reveal the top card of your library. If you put that card into your hand, you lose life equal to its mana value. So, card advantage and loss of life, which is great. Blood Celebrant can drop us as many life as we want, because we can pay a black and pay a life to add a black. Pay the black, pay a life, add the black. So, it also fixes your mana if you need white, if you need to trade black for white, but it can drop your life. Drops your life. Doom Whisper, you can pay 2 life to surveil 2, so you can get into the cards you want, but also it's just another avenue of paying life to get something. I have a Planeswalker, Gideon. I care about that last ability. 0, you get an emblem with as long as you control a Gideon Planeswalker. You can't lose the game and your opponents can't win the game. I include this later in the video because it's not one of the best cards. Like, the Angel is better than this card, but being able to start trading off at 0 is good. Next, I want to get into a couple ramp pieces. Talisman of Hierarchy. This is a way to ramp. You're now playing green, you need to ramp, but it's a way to ramp and take damage, which is super on theme for Mister Negative. Plus, Mister Negative just kind of looks like someone that would play chess. I'm just going to be honest. Staff of Completion, you can destroy things that you own, proliferate, draw cards, but you can just pay life for mana or pay life for something else. So I think Staff of Completion is a great, I think it's a great addition. You can pay life for mana, which is nice. Godless Shrine is another way you can lose life just incidentally. You pay 2 to have it come into play untapped. Caves of Corlos, it deals the damage to you for a white or a black, so it's untapped fixing, but it deals you the damage and you want to drop your life total. Witch Enchanter and Felda Profane, these are both very playable, I think. Like, these are 2 actively decent spells, but on the backside, they can come into play untapped, you pay 3 life. So they're just another way to lose life in your land slot and give more flexibility to your deck, which is fun. Ancient Tomb is a game changer, but again, it drops you life, which is what your deck's already wanting to do. If you don't have like Wall of Blood, if you don't have the Phyrexian Cleric I just showed, that you just can infinitely pay life into a system, but Doom Whisper, you need these effects to drop your life total, and they're very on theme too. Now, of course, I could have included in the list, like, oh, play Demonic Tutor, play those kind of cards, like player tutors to get into those cards, but like, I'm going to be honest, that doesn't make for a very interesting video if I just say, oh, you're playing black, you should go play Demonic Tutor. Reliquary Tower is a land, you have no max hand size. When in this exchange of life, you're going to be drawing like 20 cards, and you might not win that turn. So being able to keep those cards around is good. You're also only playing 2 colors, so having access to a colorless line is not going to be a problem, in theory. And then War Room is just another way to pay life equal to your color's commander identity, your commander's color identity, and draw cards. You're not playing blue, you want to be able to draw cards. Plus, you're only playing 2 colors. And those are all the cards that I would definitely include in Mister Negative deck. Again, I think it is super fun. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and may your top decks be ever in your favor. Thank you.